With Gina.
The news with Gina Grad.
Well, Kevin Spacey is off the hook for allegedly groping an 18-year-old.
Your hunting partner's freed up to hit the blind or the marsh or the trail.
The criminal case against the Oscar winner has been dismissed, according to TMZ, due to the unavailability of the complaining witness. The man who claimed the actor inappropriately touched him in 2016 took the fifth earlier this month after Spacey's lawyers questioned him about deleting texts that may have proven his client's innocence. The alleged victim, who earlier dropped his civil suit as well, had refused to hand over his phone, saying he had lost it. But he's not out of the woods yet. Scotland Yard is still investigating the Oscar winner for stuff over in England, but this case is closed.
I think now with the Jussie Smollett and the Spacey's victim guy, I think that's the new, I'm not drunk, but I'm not taking the breathalyzer thing, which is, oh, this guy did whatever? Good. Give us your phone. Let's see it. Not so fast, coppers.
Yeah.
Like, well, if it's there.
Yeah. What do you have to hide?
Dick pics floating around, but go ahead. Take a look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this story is, it's great because the picture is great. So hopefully we will put it up. Police in Spain have arrested a Colombian man who say tried to hide a package of cocaine under his toupee.
Ooh.
Authorities at the airport in Barcelona say the drug mule arrived on a flight from Colombia with an unusually large toupee on his head, very ill-fitting. It immediately caught the attention of investigators who suspected that rug was hiding a little more underneath than baldness. They lifted the toupee, found a package containing a half a kilo of coke pasted to his head. Look at that picture.
I saw Smokey and the Bandit. That's how they got the coke from Texarkana into
the hell.
If it worked for them.
These guys were clean and sober. We wouldn't have to deal with all this shit, Ted.
And you wouldn't make those kind of choices in life either. You know, Adam, one thing I want to do while I'm here. Number one, Brian and Gina and Adam, is awesome to be here. It's like a campfire. It's like an electronic campfire. Uninhibited, stream of consciousness, let her rip. But let's talk horsepower. You're a car nut, right? I mean, I'm just a Hellcat freako. I have a Hellcat that they took off the line for me and tweaked to that 800 stuff. And it says custom made for the Motor City Madmen
Dodge.
under the hood.
Yeah. The Dodge Hellcat, well, it started with the Demon, I think, and then it went to the Hellcat.
No, it started Hellcat.
Oh, it started with the Hellcat and then went to the Demon.
Yeah.
Either way, it's we'll see you in hell.
I have a Bronco with a Roush Yates 800 horsepower, fire-breathing, Al Gore worrying engine. And I just, there it is. And here's a little, remember when
I have toured the Roush facility, just in case.
I go there just to snort race fuel, man. I love that stuff.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's nice, and Ted was talking about bow hunting, but he also mentioned racing and sort of getting out of your head when you're racing because you're not thinking about any other thing
you can't,
on the planet. There's also a part, and you tell me if you vibe with this, and I think it's something that kids are missing, and it's something that's super important. So the biggest race we have every year is Laguna Seca of the Rolex Historics, and it's coming up 15th, 16th, 17th of next month. So we're, now about 3.5 weeks out. And I was at my shop up the street 2 hours ago, and I was saying, all right, we got about 3 weeks. We're taking a Porsche 935. And I said, it's time to start prepping. Like, we got to pull the plugs. We got to do a leak down test. We got to do a compression test.
I had to do that to my guitar yesterday.
Plugs are clean. And we got to put this thing back together, and we have to take it literally up and down the street a little bit, even though it's not very street legal, and make sure it tracks, drives straight, does all that. It's now the prep. We're at the part where it's prep. It's time to prep.
I love all that stuff.
And it's great because, like hunting, when you show up at the track, you have to have everything with you. It all has to work. Nobody can forget the can opener or the ammo or the water or whatever you need. I mean, in the race car world, there's a picture of me driving that 935, the red car.
Did you know that I raced off-road professionally for about 12 years with Mickey Thompson and Parnelli Jones and Rick Mears and the guys?
Mickey Thompson is one of the biggest off-road guys out there. Parnelli Jones is off-road, on-road, and
Gods of Thunder.
And I think Parnelli just passed?
No, not yet.
Oh, he's very sick.
Is he really, doggone?
Oh,
it?
yeah. Parnelli Jones, legend, is very sick. And Rick Mears, Indy 500 guy and everything else guy. What were you driving?
I was driving Class 1 unlimited buggies and Class 9 and 10 buggies. I raced the Mint 400, the Barstow 360, the Parker 400, and I won the Pikes Peak in Colorado.
Really?
Yeah.
We just talked about that.
We're just talking about that.
And it's intense stuff, boy. That's why my guitar sounds like it does, because I've off-road raced. It's the most intense shit this side of, I don't know.
You literally cannot lose focus for a tenth of a second.
No,
you'll hit a ditch.
It's magic, demanding. Again, I reference Zen and Samurai. You got to be the beast behind the wheel, especially off-roading, because the track changes every lap, you know.
But the prep part, there's something interesting. It does something to your mind where you start shifting at this point to prep. Like at this point, I'm 3 weeks out and I'm in sort of prep mode. Like, what are we going to do? What are we going to fix? What do we need to fix? What do we need to look for? What do we need to find?
That's why I can't sleep before the tour starts. I'm just completely obsessed by the music, and I know why my fellow musicians, got stoned and drunk and high, because it is impossible to get the music that you love and that you create and that you're about to unleash. It's impossible to get it out of your head, and that's where my focus in Zen and archery and call the kids and grandkids and escape the whirlwind of this, especially my music. It's so intense. Greg Smith on bass, Jason Hartless on drums. It's out of body. So racing is, you're always prepping. You're always thinking about it.
How do you do this though when you have some I affectionately known as flatliners. Like, I know people that just... I live with half of them. They're just like flatliners.
I use that term, yeah.
And they're just like,
tragedy.
I don't know. I don't want to get up. What time are we hunting or racing or what are we doing? No.
But that term flatliner, actually, that we should keep that in our arsenal, because you have to aspire to and achieve flatline once in a while. That's that cleansing of the soul. When I'm in a tree stand, I spend hours and every morning, and I'm sitting in a tree, immobile, with nothing but bird song and the otters and the beaver, and there goes a duck and there goes a sandhill crane. It is the healing powers of nature are ultimately effective and experienced with the desire to kill dinner and to outsmart creatures that God created to not let you outsmart them. They're so capable. 300 yards with the scope rifle, which I'm a big fan of. I love aim small, miss small marksmanship. I train with the Delta Force, and we're shooting at a mile. And I love that stuff. But to get right in the face of a deer that is so miraculously capable, it's kind of a juxtaposition, flatline and unleashed adrenaline. But you must, and remember who's saying this. I, Ted Nugent, have mastered shutting the fuck up.
Wow.
And absolutely disappearing.
But what I'm saying is the motor. You have a motor. You're a Motor City Madman.
Yeah.
It's right in your name. Some people are just detuned.
Yeah, we're not all equal. Come on,
I know. That's what I'm saying.
They're not Zen flatliners. They can't get it out.
How do you? For the people that just like, I don't know, I don't care, I'm going to watch TV. Like, how do you? Is there any way, any technique, anything you've ever known that's ever infused those people that were so detuned into? We all know just the people that they don't move very fast. They don't seem to care. You kind of ask them like, I'm getting pizza. What's your favorite topping? And they go, I don't care. I don't know. Heck,
no wonder it's called the Adam Carolla Show, because that, sir, is a brilliant probe. And let me answer it thusly. Some people are locked into flatline, and you can't help them. But if you go to my Facebook, even before there was a Facebook, back in the 60s, hippies would contact me because I've always raved about the weekend in between concerts and the mystical flight of the arrow and the excitement of having a deer come close. Even if you don't kill it, it's just an adrenaline avalanche. And so these these rock and roll young people would hear it, and they'd track me down through the booking agent. In fact, one time there was a kid named Jason who was dying of cancer, and before he died, he loved the music, he loved the Amboy Dukes, but he wanted to experience what I always raved about before he died. So we got a hold of Dave Leone at the booking agent, and we got together, and I took him out. And we didn't shoot nothing, but I got him to shoot the bow and arrow a little bit, and I had a .22 revolver, and we shot some cans, and we walked the woods, and I went into the swamp and showed him the quicksand and the fen. You know what a fen is?
No.
Very special wetlands that I own, the largest one east of the Mississippi. And anyhow, the fen has the endangered Mitchell satyr butterfly that needs the Christmas tree fern to breed, and I have the healthiest fen where there is no endangered the Christmas tree fern or the Mitchell satyr butterfly, because according to the botanist and the biologist, because I kill lots of deer that would have eaten that shit. Anyhow, so my point
you
is
and Gary Busey should never go to dinner.
And I promise you we won't.
You never order. They never order.
I won't get downwind of the young man. Anyhow, so my point is, yes, you can, because people who have no connection to nature, have never heard about nature as healer, they're against hunting, but they hear me rave about it, and what I say makes such sense if you pause and listen, that I have actually had people that, kind of talk in a monotone kind of way, and they're not really, thanks, I love your song, Dog Eat Dog, it's my favorite song. It doesn't sound like it. I don't think you've ever heard it. You can't talk like that if you hear my music. But anyhow, they've contacted me, and you see on my Facebook the unsolicited testimonials that, yes, they've gotten out of the doldrums. They've lost weight, and they've eaten better, and they now they have their archers and their marksmen, and they go hunting and fishing, and they've discovered what I've always raved about. So if we share it in a passionate, excitable, believable way, yes, you can change people who have been brainwashed otherwise.
I think the first move is diet. I think the first move for the lethargy is just get on the diet, because the diet does two things. There's a chemical part of it, but there's also a mental part of it. You start with a discipline, and then there's also sort of physiological part of it, and then start with the exercise. See where we go from there. Yes, Frank.
I have a question about diet for Mr. Nugent.
Yes, sir.
You've had what a lot of us would consider exotic meats. Give us maybe your 3 or 5 favorite that you hunt and eat. Obviously, you probably like all of them, or else you wouldn't eat them. But what are some of your favorites?
Brian, they are all so incredible. In fact, every famous chef, from Andrew Zimmern, my buddy Anthony Bourdain, God rest his soul, and Puck and everybody come up to me at every restaurant. I really like to eat. I mean, my taste buds are like a purple rim penis. It's just stimulated by the slightest of breezes.
Take a bite of that. Put that on a bib.
Take a bite of that sausage, motherfucker. Anyhow, my point is that woodchuck, handled properly. What is a groundhog? What does he eat? Grass. It's like a little cow, but it's perfectly organic. There's no feed mill. There's no chemicals. There's no antibiotics. That woodchuck's eating the purest stuff God made. And you kill that woodchuck, and you quarter him up, and you marinate him with some Verner's ginger ale and some apple cider vinegar and it's candy.
You should have a meat club.
I have a book my wife Shemaine and I wrote, Kill It and Grill It, where people have asked me this question forever, because I'm the only guy who raves and celebrates the perfection of renewable, organic, natural protein. But I'm going to tell you, I've eaten everything. I mean, when I was a kid on the Rouge River in Detroit, I shot a chipmunk with my Whammo slingshot, and I cooked that little prick. And it was like, I don't know, it was like half-assed chicken. But it's all good. There's a spirituality to the Aboriginal, Native American, African hunting culture, and that is great reverence for the beast. If you apply yourself to be the best, most conscientious, reasoning predator you are capable of, which you always push yourself, then you know you don't kill the animal. The animal is provided for you, and if you have applied yourself, you accept the gift of the animal. And when you have that natural, learned reverence out of the modern hell zone, when you learn that reverence and you practice that reverence, you will kill them cleanly, because if you hit them in the ass and the adrenaline and it taints the meat and you gut it like a goofball with a chainsaw and you get the bile and the piss on the meat, that's just rancid. But when you kill them cleanly, I don't care if it's a bear or a cougar, best white meat in the world, moose and antelope and I mean, everything. It's flesh. It's sacred flesh. And if you handle it properly, and there's some procedures, aging, you can't age bear or pigs or rabbits because trichinosis is a consideration. But you learn this stuff. I learned it as a kid. And that morsel is so hard-earned that there is a psychological element. You've sacrificed so many days in that goddamn tree stand, and you got up every morning and poked your eyes out getting there in the dark, and you finally kill that beast. You tell yourself, it's going to be delicious. I really worked hard for this. But it really is. And every chef will tell you that they all come out and shake my hands and go, you know, Ted, the greatest meal on the planet starts with game. It's the gaminess is the robust special flavors that is, you know, taste bud tantalizing. So it's all good. A pheasant, quail, woodcock, grouse, rabbit, squirrel, you know, deer, venison, the backstrap venison. I call it sacred flesh because it's so hard earned and it's so natural, and you don't need to do nothing. It's just a stick and a fire and you bite it. It's like awesome.
Nice.
It's funny. This is as close to what it sounds like to kill and eat kosher as I've ever heard. It really is.
Oh, absolutely. Well, they need a special blade to bleed in a certain way. Well, my blade's at the end of a stick.
Well, but that's the thing. Does the animal suffer? Is it a clean
exactly,
cut?
Absolutely.
Do you have reverence for what you kill?
The word reverence, Gina, that's it. And, you know, a lot of people, they attack me for being a hunter, and I'm going, but it's the most respectful relationship with God's creatures that has ever. So was Cochise unethical? I mean, was Sitting Bull a prick for eating butt? What are you talking about, you dirtball? But if you're comfortably numb and you've been brainwashed and you accept brainwashing, then you can live a lie. And all the hate leveled at me, and it rolls off my back like hygiene off of Michael Moore. I mean, it's inconsequential. That's a great one. You can use that. But anyhow,
I call him the out-of-work lesbian trucker. Like that.
Love Mikey. If I wanted to
Brian,
have God design my enemy, it would look like that.
Ask me the same question you just asked Ted about eating wild game.
Oh, you've probably had some exotic meats. What are some of your favorites?
I had a bison burger at Fuddruckers in Burbank once.
Was it?
That's all I got.
Was it sacred?
Let me hit Simply Safe.
I thought you were going to mention that Lithuanian dancer at the strip club.
No.
We don't talk about her.
Yes. Shisha, don't bring her up.
Delicious.
No.
Been in the Big Bird suit for 60
Oh,
years.
Carol Spinney.
Plays Oscar. Yeah. I thought you were talking about the other 85-year-old man that played Big Bird for 60 plus years. I mean, he's still kicking it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Who got into trouble for
Elmo.
Elmo.
Oh, Elmo got
Kevin
into trouble.
Clash, also the voice of Splinter.
Wow,
I
Adam
want to be a
Ray.
Muppeteer for
Kevin
the
Clash.
longest time.
Yeah, they did you see the documentary?
It was unbelievable.
Yeah. It was
Right.
And
insightful.
And, you know, I choose to not believe that guy, was writing letters to...
You'd have to choose not to believe.
for sure.
Consciously.
I don't know. Elmo taught me too much.
What did they say he did?
That's a damn good question. I don't know the exact.
Yeah, was it child porn or no? It was kid...
Something
underage. It was like 14, 15-year-old boys maybe like trying to show them, you know, how their elbows could bend. Something weird with the body.
Yeah, in 2012, a 23-year-old Sheldon Stevens said he was in a sexual relationship with Clash when he was 16.
And Clash was what, 40?
Well, hold on. I don't want to defend the man, but if he was wearing the Elmo outfit, then that's okay.
Yeah, that makes him of no age.
That's right. He's timeless.
Yeah.
He's a timeless predator.
He's a timeless predator.
Right.
Now, if he was, just wearing basketball trunks and a smile,
You can't do that.
that's a different situation.
You're going to have to call the feds.
Elmo outfit, no problemo.
So Clash
That's a
acknowledged
16-year-old living his dream.
Clash acknowledged that he'd been in a relationship with the accuser. However, he characterized it as being between consenting adults And then the guy Stevens later
One of Elmo's
recanted-
catchphrases, by the way.
Stevens later recants his accusation, but 2 weeks later, another accuser with similar accusations and lawsuits were filed against Clash. So
Grover's over there sitting pretty.
Yeah,
you.
Grover's
I
like,
told
this
you
is why I
this.
fly, motherfucker. It's like, by the way, did Elmo ever hold a press conference? You know what I'm saying?
There's two sides to every story. Almost innocent.
The number for today is 2. 2 sides.
Today's episode is brought to you by fucking bullshit. Yeah.
Gloria Allred's leaning in,
Whispering, covering the mic.
All right, let's do one more, Gina Grad.
All right. Well, local activists in Galicia, Spain are urging government officials to intervene after multiple tourists have been reportedly hospitalized after swimming in an Instagram famous turquoise lake that is actually a chemically contained toxic dump. Last week, 2 Instagram influencers revealed that they had been recently sickened after coming in contact with the sparkling blue water.
Where's this from?
This is in Spain, in Galicia. Alternatively nicknamed the Galician Chernobyl, the waters of this lake are an old quarry that connect with a once a World War II era tungsten mine. According to the Daily Telegraph, the mine was
tungsten, probably.
Is it?
The word, I mean, what they
Like
mine
tungsten light
is
bulbs?
tungsten, I guess, but
I didn't
maybe
know
there's a
it spelled this way.
tungsten.
I
My
don't know.
grandma just actually checked in from beyond the graves. Tungsten.
Yeah.
Well, they were the tungsteens, and then they got to Ellis Island.
Right.
And they went, and
They were just the tongue.
Let's blend in. Let's go with the tungsten.
This is spelled Tungsten. Steen.
I guess that's how you spell
I get
it.
tungsten.
Yeah.
Well, Max Panic can tell us.
I just know the light bulbs.
Well, it's metal,
Halogen.
and you mine it, so
Okay.
maybe there's
Yeah.
2. I don't know.
The mine was formerly abandoned in the 80s. It is pretty, but it is a toxic dump.
All you really need to know about human beings is mines. Because people dig huge holes in the ground,
Yeah.
dynamite stuff, make these huge cavernous, and it blights on the landscape. It's a mess. It's dangerous. It's dirty and everything. And the second they're done extracting whatever they needed out of it, they're like, all right, fellas, here we go.
Abandoned.
And they just walk off to make the
Abandoned-
next hole.
abandoned mines.
That's basically how humans are wired.
Yeah.
We are done with this thing.
Yeah.
And now we're leaving.
We're leaving.
What is it contaminated with? Just
It's always all
Primordial
you always
goo.
hear heavy metals. It's just a spelling error, according to
Oh, okay. 'cause I was
Gina's
gonna
story.
say it's, otherwise it's spelled tungsten.
So
Yeah.
the Instagram models, did they post? Did they get some good likes on their "We've been contaminated" shots?
In their ICU shots.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is I don't know. Do you guys feel like? Do you guys ever sit around and go, God, there's so much out there, and you live in this little world, and you're constantly sort of running around in your little snow globe, and you see these places you'll never go to, but then you think about going, and then you don't go. Should we all, I don't know, should everybody have, trying to think of something that's not insanely ambitious, because there's stuff here that I've not been to Monument Valley. I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, there are things in Utah I haven't been to.
Sure.
And you've been to Utah many times.
Right. Should everybody
You're
have
going in October.
should everybody have something on their list of once a year you do something within 500 miles of where you live?
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Once a year, it's within 500 miles. Every 2 years, 2 to 3 years, you try to do something within the United States, and every 5 years, you do something internationally.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And also, if that's too far for some people, because for finances or time or whatever, you guys heard about being a tourist in your own city.
Yeah.
Like, I was 20-something when I walked across the Golden Gate Bridge for the first time. I'm from the Bay Area. You know what I mean? It's like, have you guys been to, I know Gina has, but like LACMA or like, the Natural History Museum. It's awesome. Go. Check it out. It's right in your hometown.
Yeah, I just went to Tubbs in Seattle for the first time, which, if you're not familiar, you're like, oh, isn't Space Needle the big hodgepodge attraction? No, Tubbs is actually a place that houses hot tubs for people to go fucking. Yeah.
Oh.
So it's in
That sounds
the
great.
Roosevelt District. Went for the first time.
Is it a
Didn't go
family?
in.
Is it family friendly?
Dude, they got everything you need.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cop out. Like, you're gonna get hold of me in 3 years. Well, how's the
How's
pledge
the
going?
touristing
well,
going?
Oh, hold on. Hear me out. There's a Carney's in Studio City. There's a one on Sunset. I went to the one in Studio City.
Yeah.
And I live in La Cañada, so that's not a short jaunt.
No,
It's not.
it's technically
Go
within
ahead and
500
check
miles.
that box.
In all seriousness, on that point, a very, very, very junior version of what we're talking about, everyone goes to... What happened?
Oh, no.
Tub Salon closed. Everyone goes to the same restaurants over and over again. It's just it's the familiar. It's comfort, whatever. Make your pledge. Everyone listening, just go to a new restaurant. Go to a place
that's
you've
a good
heard
one.
about, a place that supposed to be great. It doesn't have to be fancy. Just go to a new one. Just try something new.
All right, let's bring it home, Gina Grad.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
That was the news with Gina Grad.